And the reason why I say that is because we have to wrap up our time pretty soon, and I want to explain the body paragraph. Okay, and so in terms of a body paragraph, body paragraphs always start with a topic sentence. As I told you earlier, a body paragraph can be written from one or two supporting details. A high-scoring body paragraph must extend and explain details and answer the question, and it must be coherent with the thesis statement. All right? So we could look at this body paragraph that I've written for the outweigh question, do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages question. Right, and here you can see on the screen the body paragraph for the first controlling idea. You can see the body paragraph for the first controlling idea. And when you look at it here, I already know my topic sentence because I wrote the topic sentence earlier. I wrote the topic sentence earlier in the outline. And so when it comes time to writing, I already know my first sentence. Examining cultural identity and language illustrates how a new language's benefits supersede the drawbacks. The associated disadvantages of imposing a new lingua franca. Now that's Latin, everybody, but that language, it may not look like English to you, but it's been adopted into the English vocabulary. Include losing one's mother tongue, which inextricably links with cultural identification. Lose the tongue, forget the culture. Now I'm going to extend this idea by countering it. This is what it means to extend your ideas. However, eliminating one's customs to become intertwined in this new global heritage, bonded to the newly minted language, is positive and overrides the negative. That language in red, override, that's what the whole question is about. Right? One thing that students don't do in their writing is they don't use language to show they're answering the question. A newly fashioned common tongue breaks the culture, language, historical links, and embodies overwhelming positivity. Again, that's language that is showing how I'm answering the question. We're considering fringe benefits such as eradicating ethnic wars, lessening misunderstandings, promoting empathy, and creating solidarity. Now I'm going to extend that point. Ridding the world of individual cultural identity through a new manner of speaking increases intercontinental dialogue. Thus, the advantages trump, again, language that refers to answering the question, any apparent detriment. Detriment is another way of saying disadvantage. When they tell you in an essay about extending and explaining, this is what they're talking about. Now, this paragraph is only 115 words. Okay, it's only 115 words. But we see a variety of sentences. We see a variety of complex forms. The reason why you see this highlight, this in orange, eradicating, lessening, promoting, and creating, is that's an example of understanding parallelism. Handling parallelism correctly is a really high-level English skill that scores very well. Starting with the word ridding, which means get rid of, is I'm starting a sentence with a gerund, which again, high-level English work. And then we can see consistently throughout the paragraph, I'm answering the question about how it outweighs the disadvantages. In the next example, that's about graduation, we can see the same thing at play. Right? The word constructive is a synonym of the word useful. Because remember, the question is about, do you think working for a year is useful? Do you think working for a year is useful? So throughout this paragraph, I have to explain why it's useful, right? I have to answer the question. So you see the word constructive, which relates to being useful. There you see the word useful. The word practical relates to useful. And then you see become useful, right? So you see I'm using two synonyms of the word and showing the examiner that I have a range of vocabulary. So throughout that entire paragraph, I'm answering the question. The constructive future career benefits obtained from working support why students should pursue year-long gainful employment. The primary factor derived as a subsequent vocational benefit connects with the work ethic developed over the 12 months. Work ethic refers to a useful set of vital moral values that guide individuals toward succeeding in an educational or job environment. This substantial work morality counts as a practical, useful, future student career boost because post-work university studies require a higher level of extended focus garnered from the past labor. Not only heightened attention, but also this strong work ethical code birthed from the year-based employment will become useful, again answering the question, since it breeds extreme confidence that allows one to succeed in a future occupation beyond that year-long commission. That is a body paragraph in terms of how it's supposed to be written. All right, I have a couple of questions. Yeah, Rashmi asked me a question. Can I just have one detail and extended? Rashmi, you see the paragraph that I'm writing right here, right? I have one detail, but I extended it and explained it very, very well to answer the question. That's actually really what an examiner is looking for. They're looking for you to be able to explain, extend, and answer a question. A big mistake that a lot of students make is they do a lot of serial listing, right? That's a big mistake that a lot of students make. First, second, third, and they just list details without explaining them. That's a big problem. And that's something that a lot of students, that's a mistake that a lot of students end up making in their writing. All right. So as I said, this is just a little bit more information about how you really write a body paragraph. I think what I really want you to take away from this is that when you're writing, be able to recognize what language do I have to use in my paragraph to make sure that I'm answering the question, right? What language do I have to use to make sure I'm answering the question? Because a lot of students write, the big problem also is a lot of students write very, very in general. They just write about the topic. And just writing about the topic, without answering the question is why you're not going above a 6 or 6.5. Victoria, there's no situation where in this situation I can use one detail, in the other situation I'll use two details. Right? You can practice. I would say, Victoria, just choose a way to practice. Right? If you want to develop the ability to write with just one detail, develop that ability. If you want to write with two details, you can do that. But you can see the way that I wrote with this one detail, it's a very coherent paragraph. Everything is about future career benefits and work morality or work ethic, and then answering the question as to why it's useful. Yeah, Madhurima, you're asking about my level of English. No, what you're seeing right here is probably is level 9, is I would say probably beyond level 9. because for you to do level 9 work, it doesn't have to be as good as what I'm doing, what I'm showing you here. But I'm showing you just a lot of different ways of using language and vocabulary. And if you can do most of what I'm doing here, Mahurima, you're going to be able to score very, very well. You'll be able to score very, very well. I think what you can do more than anything else, more than anything else, what you can do to really score as an 8. Number 1, write mistake-free sentences. Write mistake-free sentences. If you write mistake-free sentences, you will score very, very well. Number 2, make sure that you can write a thesis statement and topic sentences correctly. Because as I told you, those are the 2 most important sentence types in the entire essay. And number 3, when you're writing a body paragraph, make sure that you are actually answering the question. Make sure that you are using language that shows that the author is answering the question and not just talking about things in general. And then finally, show a variety of sentence types and show that you're able to paraphrase and use synonyms. If you do that, you will get an 8 or a 9. Right? So I gave you the 4 things that you have to work on. I gave you the 4 things that you have to work on. All right. Any final questions, everybody? Because I have to run, because I have to teach a TOEFL class, actually. Does anybody have any final questions before we wrap up? I hope you understand a little bit better about doing a higher level of outlining and the benefits of doing a higher level of outlining. I hope that you understand a little bit more about what it means to write a proper introduction and also what it means to write a proper body paragraph. No, Yusuf, there are only 2 assignments there are only 2 assignments. One assignment is to finish the outline. The other assignment is to write the introduction. Okay, those are the 2 assignments that you have to complete. And yeah, Yusuf, you have until I guess tomorrow is fine, but I would like for you to finish it today, to be honest with you, if you can. If you can, I understand. Okay. If you can, I understand. But if you can finish those two assignments today, that'll be great. And like I said, I will comment on what you've done. I will comment on what you've done. Yeah, I said I will comment. But when you write there is an assignment to write an introduction. In that assignment, you're only supposed to write the introduction. If you write more than the introduction, I'm not looking at it. Don't write an entire essay. Don't do that. Do not do that. Okay, the assignment is not to write an entire essay. The assignment is to write an introduction. Okay, so if you want me to comment on what you've done, follow the directions. If you don't follow the directions, I will not comment. Okay. Okay, so we only do 1 live class a month because, like I said, there are multiple classes that I teach. Right, that's now all of the previous live classes that I've done, most of those you can see inside the course. Right, most of those you can see inside the course. There is a possibility. Now, normally I only do 1 live class a month because that's all I have the time to do. There is a possibility that I will be doing a second live class this month on listening And that's because book 15 is about to come out. So there's a possibility. I haven't decided. I don't know if I'm going to do that yet or not, but that's a possibility. Yeah, it hasn't been decided yet. All right. It may not happen until July. It might happen this month. I don't know. Is it Hababo? Rashida? A conclusion, Rashida, is basically an upside down introduction. A conclusion is an upside down introduction. You're basically going to you paraphrase the thesis statement and you summarize the points you were trying to make in your body paragraphs. That's the easiest way I can explain to you about a conclusion. It's an upside down introduction. Yeah, the live classes, like I told you, we do one a month. That's what we commit to doing, is one a month, right? Because there are other responsibilities that I have. Okay, so thanks a lot. I got to run, everybody. I got another class to teach. Have a great day. Please make sure that you rate the class. If when you finish the course, you can do a review of the course. You can do a review, and so I would appreciate if you do a review. I'm not telling you what to rate. If you give 5 stars, great. If you give whatever you give is great. But even if you give a 5-star review, please comment on how the course benefits you, and that will be very helpful. When you do reviews, those reviews help me to be able to do live classes because they benefit the course, and I can be able to create the time for doing more live classes for this course. All right, Victoria, when a question asks for an opinion, we must add a separate paragraph only for the. Yeah, Victoria, it could be done that way. Victoria, it could be done that way. You can end up writing a separate paragraph that's only for the opinion. That's possible, yes. All right. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great day. Take care. Yeah, Rashida, you can rewrite it. You can rewrite it, Rashida.